Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Calling a roll.
Randy Gentry,
Here.
Nancy Alsop,
Here.
Brenda Wilson,
Here.
David Thompson,
Here.
Brad Anderson,
Here.
Vicky Wager,
Here.
Steve Ellis.
Here.
Correcting the journal of preceding meetings if needed. September 2nd, 2025, special call meeting is on page 48. There are no corrections. I will take a motion. Motion by Councilwoman Wilson,
I'll second.
second by Councilwoman Alsop. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. September 2nd, 2025, Sunshine Meeting, page 51.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman Wilson,
I'll second.
second by Councilwoman Alsop. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. September 9th, 2025, executive session, page 55.
Move to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman Wilson,
I'll second.
second by Councilwoman Alsop. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. September 9th, 2025, council meeting, page 56.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman Alsop.
Second.
Second by Councilman Anderson. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. September 18th, 2025, special call meeting, page 61.
Motion we approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Anderson, second by Councilwoman Wilson. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Number 4, communication from elected officials, other officials, or agencies of the county.
Mr. President.
Councilman Ellis.
Mr. President, members of the council, Steve Ellis, County Council, Vigo County Council. Two things I'd like to address. One is I want to apologize to our auditor, Larry, for a few comments that I made to him that were probably a little more assertive or aggressive than I should have been, and for that I apologize. Last meeting, I did a first reading a week ago. I did a first reading of an ordinance that I read in as follows. Unless specifically mandated by Indiana law, promulgated rule, and/or judicial mandate, the Vigo County Council will not appropriate any taxpayer monies, funds, or other Vigo County financial resources for any of the following without a ballot referendum requesting said specific funding and a subsequent approval by the registered voters of Vigo County. Number 1, the Vigo County Council will not appropriate any taxpayer monies, funds, or other county financial resources for the direct or indirect acquisition of any new land any new land parcels for the explicit use to construct school structures or buildings This includes the purposes of both educational and non-educational functions. Number 2, the Vigo County Council will not appropriate any taxpayer monies, funds, or other county financial resources for the direct or indirect construction of a new school building or direct or indirect acquisition of any new or pre-existing building for the explicit use of the Vigo County School Corporation. This includes the purposes of both educational and non-educational functions. Number 3, the Vigo County Council will not appropriate any taxpayer monies, funds, or other county financial resources for the Vigo County School Corporation or any other entity, government and or private sector, for both for profit or non-for-profit, towards a new school or any other building with a designated in use by the Vigo County School Corporation. Number 4, the Vigo County Council will not appropriate any taxpayer monies, funds, or other county financial resources for the funding of any renovations of any school, school building, or school facility owned and or operated by the Vigo County School Corporation. And number 5, the Vigo County Council will not appropriate any taxpayer monies, funds, or other county financial resources for, without preclusion of County Council Rule 5A, the funding of a board, commission, or other entity made up of elected and or non-elected appointed individuals operating with an oversight and or in an advisory capacity designated to oversee taxpayer and or private monies directed for the use of the Vigo County School Corporation or any government or private entity operating in the capacity to oversee and or advise on the purchase, renovation, and or development of new school buildings or facilities for the Vigo County School Corporation. I would like for this to act as my second reading, and I would like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Michael, I will refer to you. The point of this being proper procedure, the way this was presented, the way it was done. Well, first of all, before I say that, I'd like to say I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. I will say this has been questioned that it wasn't on the agenda, it was taken off of the agenda. It was never taken off the agenda. The truth of the matter is our Rule 11 and our 2025 rules specifically state our agenda format. Number 3 in the sunshine meeting and number 4 in our voting meeting is communication from elected officials. Councilman Ellis is an elected official. He was never taken off the agenda. I talked to, when this was emailed, the ordinance itself was never presented until last week to anybody that I'm aware of. Nobody, the auditor's office hadn't received it. Nobody from the council had received it. On the 22nd, I reached out to Steve after I heard that this was, that he wanted on the agenda, to advise him that he was on the agenda under communication from elected officials. That wasn't good enough. He requested a specific spot on that to be placed on there. I asked him at that time what it was for. All he would say was it was probably going to make me mad and several others. Last week it was presented for the first reading, which I think is the first time many people in this room had heard it. He wasn't taken off the agenda again. He is communication from elected officials. He had the ability to talk uninterrupted like any other elected official can do so. The fact that I don't think it was done correctly, our legal advice was out of town, as I was as well. When Michael Wright returned, this was presented to him. It was never taken out of the booklet, as every councilman or member can see that the ordinance is there. So, Michael, I would like to know if this is something we do as the fiscal body. To me, it is something that should be done by the executive and legislative body, but I will defer to you.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. So your rules dictate the processes by which either your membership or the various departments of Vigo County submit requests to you as the fiscal body for Vigo County. It anticipates that about 3 weeks prior to your meeting, a request is submitted to the auditor's office detailing what the request is, why the request is necessary for the department, if there are contracts or other things associated with the transaction, those are normally included with that initial request. The reason for that, in my opinion, is kind of the due process, the ability of elected officials to be aware of what sort of requests are coming before them at their next meeting. So you have a timeline out there that if departments don't meet, they're held back, not withdrawn or anything, but they're held back till the next round of meetings unless the request is so urgent that, pursuant to the various rules that exist, a special meeting is necessary and anticipated or called. So, my understanding of the process here is the first time the auditor's office was presented with an ordinance was last week, which would not have been in time to have a first reading last week. So my belief is that due process dictates that you as elected officials have the right to be aware of what is coming before you. And in this scenario, if we go with the other idea, that time period is a week. I mean, by this, if I understand this, the circumstances as I understand them are true, if the ordinance was read last week, that's the first time any of you heard it, you're expected within a week to seek counsel of your so that, I do not believe that due process dictates that you have those sorts of conversations and make those sorts of determinations on your own regard within that truncated time period. So that's why I don't believe it's in appropriate order, and would agree with Councilman Ellis that he's fully entitled to submit what has been submitted and have that issue placed on the agenda and considered. But I don't believe it's ripe for consideration tonight. So.
Thank you.
Mr. President, you going to make a ruling on this?
What are the options? Rescinding
I don't
the-
believe the motion was in order. I mean, I don't think there is an appropriate.
Mr. Wright, I'm asking the president to tell us what his actual ruling is, not, I mean,
Okay.
you're legal counsel, so I've heard what you've said legally.
Sure.
I'd like to question that, but first I want to know where the president's going with this. You've provided the council legal advice, and I'd like to know how the president is going to rule on the motion and second that's on the table.
As our legal counsel said, I don't believe it is the proper time to do it, right time to consider it, and if I can, I don't know how to, I don't know if it needs to be rescinded, or if it's just a,
I think, I mean, I'm not, I don't think an out-of-order motion needs to be rescinded. So I think you're in the comment period from elected officials portion of your meeting. I don't believe there's an appropriate ordinance considerate of a motion before you. So I don't think any further action on it is necessary.
okay. So we will move on.
Mr. President, is that your ruling?
Yes.
Point of order, sir. Can you state the legal reason why we're not following Rule 7 tonight?
What is-
Rule 7, line 2 of our adopted rules. Any member may introduce a resolution or ordinance relating to revenues, appropriations, or in compensation or matters which may lawfully come before the council. Mr. Wright's opinion started to dive into the idea that actually is rules associated with departmental request. The last time I checked, Mr. Ellis is a member of the council, and in additional rules that we have, it clearly outlines the process in which a council member would introduce a ordinance. To introduce an ordinance at a meeting, it can actually get an up or down vote at that meeting if 2/3 of the members agree. However, in the case of Mr. Ellis, he actually had the floor, was given the floor at the Sunshine meeting, which is outlined in our rules and is also something that is clearly outlined in Indiana law. He read into the record an ordinance. Then he comes before us tonight. That ordinance was handed to the secretary. If you understand the rule says that the action of handing that to the secretary is the filing. By our own very rules that we adopted, I asked Mr. Wright, I guess at this point, because I'm actually in a point of order at this point on the legal matter, I challenge, whether I'm for this or against this, one thing I am for is following the rules and making sure at the end of the day we do everything right. And I strongly disagree with Mr. Wright's position because there's no legal basis to prevent this from coming to a vote. That even Mr. Wright, if you disagree that this is not appropriate, he can still make the motion. It may require a 2/3 vote, but I didn't hear you say that. What I heard you say was it was out of order. It can't be out of order. It can't be by our own rules. And if the president, if I understand the president is going to rule that away, then I stand and I appeal the president's ruling and ask for a vote as for this body to overrule the president, which is allowed by Robert's Rules of Order. Again, I'm not saying I'm for this. I'm not saying I'm against it. But telling a member of this body that they cannot introduce an ordinance and they're out of order, wrong. Wrong today, tomorrow, yesterday, a decade from now. And I'm appalled that we're here. I'm appalled of all the emails and nonsense that's been going on, the newspaper articles. We're trying to conduct business. And Mr. Wright, by you saying you haven't pointed to one thing. I've read the rules. I've got them right here. I've got Robert's Rules of Orders. I've researched this up, down, left, and right because I knew that this wasn't going to get allowed to have a vote. So, Mr. President, if your position is you're not going to allow a vote, I stand to appeal your decision and ask for a vote of this council to overrule your opinion and move forward with the vote. That is correct procedure in Robert's rules.
If that needs a second, I'll second it. I don't know that it needs it, though.
An appeal is not a second, it's not a motion, it's a precedent, it's allowed. So again, that's why I asked point of order. If the president says it's out of order to take this, then I want this body to vote on the appeal to overrule the president's ruling so that we can move forward with at least an up or down vote on this.
May I?
Yes.
If you heard me say that Councilman Ellis couldn't file this, then you didn't listen to what I was saying. I specifically said he can file any resolution or ordinance related to revenues, appropriations, compensation. It's what your rules provide for. My point, and as it still stands, I have sit and listened to you talk about your necessity of having prior notice on all issues related to county business. And now, all of a sudden, 1 week is enough for you to consider this issue?
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to let you know that our rules allow a member, I could do the same thing right now. I could put an ordinance on the table right now.
You're
And,
right.
and by our own rules, we don't have to wait 7 days. We don't have to wait. We could vote on that, and two-thirds vote would be required to be able to do that. You did not say that, and I'm not going to let you, all I want to know at this point, quite frankly, is the president, if he has ruled that we are moving on, which I believe came out of his mouth, we can roll the tape back, we're moving on, then I appeal that. And I want to actually have this body vote up or down on the appeal to overrule the president's decision.
That is an appropriate request.
Thank you. Mr. President, I ask for a vote on overruling your decision to move past this.
What is a yay vote? To move past it? So people know what they're voting on.
Robert's Rules of Order would say that you have to, as president, state your position, and the appeal would be to agree with it or disagree with it.
My determination is to move on to this to the November meeting. You call for a roll call vote?
I appeal your decision.
Roll call vote.
Randy Gentry,
I overrule the president's position.
Nancy Alsup,
I overrule it too.
Brenda Wilson,
I go along with his decision.
Steve Ellis,
Overrule his position.
Vicky Wager,
Overrule the decision.
Brad Anderson,
Overrule.
David Thompson,
Nay.
This time, Mr. President, I ask the fact that the appeal was made in your decision to table this till November has been overruled. I ask for a yea or nay vote on the actual ordinance, sir.
Appropriate at this point?
Any discussion from council? Councilwoman Wilson?
I think it's highly irresponsible of us to have 7 days to consider it an ordinance that was just plopped in front of us that we had no forewarning about. It's totally irresponsible for us to rule on this ordinance when we don't even know what the possibilities are for the committee that they're wanting to put together, the whole project that they're considering. we don't have enough information to rule on this. It's irresponsible to just vote this down.
Thank you.
Mr. President, discussion, please.
Councilman
I
Gentry?
mean, to go along with it, not to vote it down, but to agree with it.
This ordinance, as I have read it, I've spent a week, many of the people in this room have had conversations with me all hours of the day and night. This ordinance does not stop this council from funding any school project. What this does is returns the power to the people. It lets the people make a decision as to whether they want to invest 220, 240, 260 million, whatever that number ends up being. The referendum process is there. Nobody on this council, matter of fact, if you read the ordinance, if the community says that we're going to support this, then it's the council's duty to actually move forward and fund the school, help fund the school. I'm not against a partnership. What I'm against, and this is the thing that irritates me, because this is such a distraction. The idea that we had an item that was on the agenda, then it's taken off, and then it's, well, I haven't really had a chance to talk to council, and we're going back and forth. The day that we get to a point that none of us as council members can make a motion without approval of the president or legal counsel, can't make a motion, can't make an ordinance, can't bring something forward, this body is worthless at that point. That's our job. And whether I agree or disagree, it angers me that some elected officials have decided that the best way to get school funding is to take the voice away from the people. It's a referendum. We've been there. We know we can get help. We know that if the public is for it, we'll all get behind it. I'm angry that we've spent a week, and other council members that are concerned about how long we've had to look at this. It's in our own rules, how this process. Our rules would allow any one of us to issue an ordinance tonight, and we can vote on it. And there is past precedence of that occurring. This is not, it may be rare that this happens, but I really, really am very upset that we are trying to silence members of this body. For better or for worse, I think everybody has an opportunity, and this process of trying to come up with a way to keep him off the agenda is unhelpful. So I again, I urge the opportunity to vote. I believe that's where we're at this point. Thank you, sir.
Any other communication?
Mr. President,
Yes.
you know, I'm sitting here looking out at all the folks who are here, and I'm so glad you're all here. I hope you don't think we're all nuts, or find out that we're all nuts. There are so many needs for money in our community, and we got a big hammer over our heads right now as the council, and that's the county jail. That sucker is full of people like you can't believe. It's supposed to have under 300. It's supposed to have about 250 people in it. It's got about almost 450 people in it. My God, wait till Judge Magna Stinson finds out. If she had room to put us in there, she would, but she doesn't. We've got a community corrections facility. We've got 295 people running around now with ankle monitors on that have to go to the community corrections at night. We don't have room for them. Norm's sitting there in the front row trying to open up a group home so we can put some kids in there and keep them off the streets, and we're trying to get money to pay for that. The mayor needs $1 million to put a trail through Ray Park. The clerk's office needs money.
Don't say I.
Well, but you need a trail. And, okay. Somebody needs $1 million. Another million. And Adam, you're doing a great job. You never hardly ever come and ask for money, bless your heart. We need to keep in our own lane, I think. And you know, I go to school board meetings, and I hardly ever see very many of you folks there. I see Rick Berger all the time, but he's on school board. I don't know how you do it. And I just, you know, if I vote to not give the money to another study commission, I hope you won't hate me. But I'm for the schools anyway. That's all I got to say about that.
Right, Councilwoman Wilson?
Just one response to that. Yeah, we need jails, but my God, what about the kids? The schools are. I agree. The schools are essential more than anything. I mean, that's where it starts, and we've been neglecting our kids and our schools for too long. We need to do something. We need to move off the dime. We need to get something going. We need to get progress started so that we can have some. It starts with the kids, and if we can get the kids into decent schools, we could maybe prevent people from ending up in prison.
Councilman Ellis?
So the one thing I would say is, I don't think there's anyone on this council up here that is against our children having better facilities. I think we're all in favor of that. Thank you, appreciate that. What I would say is, I think the people that are sitting up here are slightly more intimately familiar with the county finances than perhaps some of you. And I don't mean that in an offensive way. I'm just saying we have been dealing with budgets for the last probably 10 weeks or so. We understand that we have employees that need raises that can't pay their bills, and they're not fairly paid and compensated right now. We're trying to find the money to do that. We have lots of projects going on, as Councilwoman Wager said. We have lots of projects going on that also need funded. Our expenses went up this year, and we are looking at, in 2 years from now, in 2020, not even 2 years, in 2027, many of you may not know this, but we lose $6 million a year as a county to personal property taxes going away. Personal property taxes, for those of you that don't know, are different than your real property taxes. Those are the taxes that a lot of businesses pay on all of their computers and desks and chairs. And so that all goes away in 2027. So we lose another $6 to $7 million at that point. What we are simply saying is, we are not the right people to be making these decisions on behalf of the school corporation. We are not the right people to, we don't have the funds. We know, we're sitting here trying to figure out how we're gonna pay what we have to pay for. And to say that we are somehow not pro-children because we don't have the funds to put towards this is ludicrous. So all I simply say is, look, until you've walked a mile in someone else's shoes and understand, there are many of us that don't have fancy cars and nice homes because we can't afford it. We can only spend money on what we can afford, and we simply cannot afford this project. So with that, oh, all right. So if you're ready for a vote, we're ready for a vote.
Not ready for a vote.
Call it.
Councilman Anderson?
During the, there's been a big change with the governor and the state on this tax reduction. And what we're looking at over the next few years, we're going to lose millions of dollars worth of tax revenue. Hopefully, they will straighten it out in the next Senate on some changes. I think people just don't know where we're at. Also, next year, all the budgets will come to the county council, including schools, library, everything will be coming through us. And right now, there's so many things we don't know about, and it's kind of tough to make a decision. we know the schools, you know, the condition of some of them, but this committee, we need to have this committee and have them come in front of us to be able to decide. This is a big decision and a lot of money. And so hopefully, if they get the program and get there, but why is the county spending the money to do that on the study and putting this committee together? We know that we got a community corrections building. They came to us for $1 million last meeting, and being there tonight for the study and design of that. That's a $45 million project. So we know we need it, and we expect that, you know. So it's just too early to decide on this and make a fair decision. And I just want everybody to know that we know we need schools, you know. We know we got problems, but there's also a trust thing there, and the county has its own problems, and we have to run. We have 70% of all our money goes toward sheriff's department, clerks, judges. All that money comes in. We still have to run this county. We want the roads to be nice or better, all these things that come in, but the money comes into here, and then we'll be going out to all these things in 2006. So we got a lot of decisions to make.
Councilwoman Anderson, or Wilson?
Where we are. Just one other thing, in the brief amount of time since last week that I've had to discuss this with a few people, I don't think, and that's another reason why I don't think it's fair to put it on the people for a referendum yet, because they don't have enough information. We don't have enough information. They don't have enough information, and that's part of why this committee is going to be put together. $100,000 was thrown out there. We don't have to approve $100,000. We can approve whatever's necessary to basically get it started, and I think that was mainly to cover attorney costs to make sure that it's put in place properly. I've also found that there are places like the casino that are going to contribute to this. It's not going to be all county funded. There are going to be other organizations that are going to contribute to it, not just the taxpayers. But we don't know all that yet. So it's not time, I don't think, to rule on this ordinance.
Mr.
Michael Wright.
Mr. President,
Michael.
I just wanted to make the point, because of, you know, how this is all transpired and where we were at in the meeting, you know, normally you would have heard public comment by now.
Yes.
And that, you know, on any issue, and I just want to make that point that, you know, typically when ordinances are up for consideration prior to council discussion, there's opening of the floor to hear on the issue from those in attendance. So
And that never happened.
it never did. So I just want to point that out for the record, that it'd be my opinion that if this is being considered, that it be considered appropriately and that public comment be allowed.
Mr. Wright, that's also dictated by our rules that we adopted as a council. I'm sorry, sir, but the procedure as to what occurs at what point in the agenda, public comment is at the end of the agenda, sir.
I don't think that's what he meant. I think he meant on this specific ordinance, like for the first reading last week, we should have had public comment at that point.
There was. Mr. President, may I have the floor?
No. Councilman, or Commissioner Schweitzer, did you have something to add?
Point of order. There's a motion on the floor and a second. It's inappropriate with Robert Rules of Order to take additional testimony from the floor, sir. I appeal your decision, sir, and ask for a vote.
Call for the question.
And a roll call?
Will we do it?
So a yes vote would be a concurrence with Randy's request that no comment from the floor be allowed. And
Incorrect. It's the president's
This is the
ruling.
que-
I am
the
appealing the
questions on
president's
the floor.
ruling that he is opening the floor. It's not appropriate by our own rules as to when public testimony would occur. It's in our rules. If we're going to do it for this meeting, we should do it for every
This
meeting.
is not public comment, Randy. This is public discussion on an issue that is before the council. You allow it at every meeting.
We do not, sir. Thank you.
Do too.
Commissioner Switzer?
Point of order.
Yes.
I appeal your decision to open the floor. We have a motion on the table and a second. I ask for a vote.
Roll call vote.
Randy Gentry,
Motion to vote the motion that's on the table.
Nancy Alsop,
Is that a yes or no?
Wait, is that a yes or no? A yes, you agree with, you're appealing?
I disagree with opening the floor.
Okay.
Aye.
He's an elected official.
You agree with opening the floor?
No, I don't. I agree with, you said a motion to agree to open the floor? Or no?
What?
How about we call it open or not open?
Yeah, let's-
My vote is not to open the floor per our rules.
So you either agree or disagree, right?
Just
I
either.
agree.
You agree to not open or to open?
yeah.
She's agreeing with Randy.
Not to open the floor.
Brenda Wilson,
Nay.
David Thompson,
Nay.
Brad Anderson,
Nay.
Vicky Wager,
Aye.
Steve Ellis.
Aye.
Now we vote.
Request, Mr. President, I request the motion on the floor that's been seconded. I ask for a vote, roll call vote.
Council members, let me start by saying the Vigo County School Corporation project is likely the largest, most impactful initiative any of us will face on our council. No other project will form the future of the county more than this one. It is not a matter to be taken lightly. It deserves our most thoughtful, measured approach. Unfortunately, some have responded to this project with personal emotions rather than objective reasoning. This has led to threats of what will be the largest lawsuit in Vigo County's history, and attacks such as calling our county auditor spineless and demanding his resignation for no more than his adherence to council procedures. Let's be clear, the Oversight Committee has not yet been formed. The special call meeting to discuss the formation of the schedule is scheduled for October 29th. At that meeting, just like every other council meeting, each of us will have the opportunity to ask questions, express concerns, and shape the direction this project goes. The goal of forming the Oversight Committee is simple: to ensure transparency, accountability, and thorough evaluation of facts before any decisions are made. Right now, despite public discourse, the truth is, we don't know any facts. So far, there's been one public meeting involving the school corporation with full council attendance. Until we receive reports and recommendations from the Oversight Committee, we are not in the position to make informed judgments. The committee findings may reveal the county can only responsibly fund a portion of the proposed project. Or they may recommend phasing, scaling, or restructuring the project altogether. Shutting down the formation of the committee before it ever has a chance to do its job is premature, but also potentially harmful to the future of Vigo County and its residents. We were advised the project will spread across 3 phases over possibly a 10-year period. We've also been advised outside funding may be available. These are important possibilities, but again, until we verify data and recommendations, this is all speculation. During a recent conversation with a councilman, I was told, and I'll quote, "I'm not sure this is the hill we should die on." And I couldn't agree more. Stopping this committee based on lies and opinions is not an option. I'm not in any way suggesting the county can afford a future proposal, but like every one of us, I want my decisions based on facts. Let us commit to acting with responsibility, patience, and professionalism. Vigo County deserves a process guided by facts, not fear, pressure, or personal agendas. We owe it to our constituents to do this correct. Larry, roll call, please.
What's the motion?
The motion that was on the floor, Mr. Anderson, as I recall, is that we would accept the ordinance, and it was seconded by Vicki Weger.
Randy Gentry,
Aye.
Nancy Alsop,
Aye.
Brenda Wilson,
Nay.
Steve Ellis,
Aye.
Vicky Wager,
Aye.
Brad Anderson,
Nay.
David Thompson,
Nay. Motion passes 4-3. Reports from committees. Annual Budget Committee update.
Okay, we'll be doing the second vote on the budget. Steve, Vicki, and I have worked on this. We cut over $1 million out of the people requests, but we are definitely going to have a little higher budget this year. Insurance, health, everything's going up. Trying to get our employees up to a midpoint from the Baker Tilly thing. We've already put some of the county into the midpoint, trying to bring everybody to a midpoint, not a high point, but a midpoint. And so we'll be reading the second reading, and we will try to work and save as much money as we can. But as we all know, everything rises. Fire departments want more money, the employees need more money, cost of gas, cost of everything. We made a lot of cuts, but it's still, the budget's a little higher than we really wanted to be. But I think it'll work, and we can make it work. Some of the incomes coming in has been a little bit better, but there's still so many questions with this state tax income. We all want our taxes to go down on our homes, and that's a good thing. But what it does to local government and the different funding mechanisms, we don't know yet. We really don't know. And we know we're going to lose, we're looking at $1 million this year, as Steve said, when personal property, but we don't know that for a fact. We know we're going to lose more money. But we're trying to keep the community safe. We got the community corrections health thing we're looking at, and that'll help with the overcrowding of the jail. But anyway, we're going for the second tonight, and I hope everybody supports what we've done, and we'll work on that.
Mr. President, let me also say I encourage the news media folks who are here to speak with Kevin Gardner, who is the county auditor. County assessor, sorry, Larry, my apologies. Kevin can shed some real light on the numbers that we're faced with in the future. I mean, we got some real shock and awe going on here from what's coming from the state and the Fed. And it's eye-opening. You'll have some really good stories to tell. Kevin Gardner.
Thank you, Councilman Wager. Resolutions and ordinances other than appropriations. A final reading of Vigo County 2026 budget. Page 5 of our book.
All right, I'm going to read this first heading one time, and then I'll refer to it in others. Be it ordained, resolved by the Vigo County Council that for the expenses of Vigo County for the year ending December 31st, 2026, the sums herein specified are hereby appropriated and ordered set apart out of several funds herein named and for the purposes herein specified. Subject to the laws governing the same, such sums herein appropriated shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year unless otherwise expressly stipulated and provided for by law. In addition, rates as herein specified are included herein. Budgets Form 4B for all funds must be completed and submitted in the manner prescribed by the Department of Local Government Finance. This ordinance council resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approved by the Vigo County Council. Name adopting, the Vigo County Council is the entity, the fiscal body. The type of adopting entity is the county council, and the date of adoption for each one of these is 10/14 of 25. So with that, I go into the Vigo County budget. For the casino riverboat, $135,000. Rainy day, 0. General, $56,775,000. $56,775,028. Reassessment, $1,326,506. Highway, $6,215,105. Local road and street, $1,260,000. Cumulative bridge, $968,700. Health, $2,433,811. Emergency telephone system, $782,040. Park and recreation, $1,798,248. Park non-reverting capital, $30,000. Cumulative capital development, $360,000. Economic development income tax credit, $9,733,650. For a total of $81,818,088. And then we go over to what they call the home rule funds, and that is $17,381,656. If you add the $81,818,088 and the $17,381,656, that brings the total budget adopted to $99,199,744. That is the Vigo County budget.
Thank you. Discussion?
Motion to approve the budget.
Motion by Councilman Gentry,
Second it.
second by Councilman Ellis. Roll call, please.
Randy Gentry,
Aye.
Nancy Alsop,
Aye.
Brenda Wilson,
Aye.
Steve Ellis,
Aye.
Vicky Wager,
Aye.
Brad Anderson,
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Final reading of binding units 2026, page 8 of the book.
So as I mentioned before, I'm not going to read the full paragraph that I just read. We'll allude to that from the first reading. This is for the Terre Haute International Airport. Same adopting entity for the county council. Same date of adoption, 10/14 of 25. In the amount of $3,393,580. That is the amount for the Terre Haute International Airport.
Thank you. Discussion? Take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Wager, second by Councilman Gentry. Roll call, please.
Randy Gentry,
Aye.
Nancy Alsop,
Aye.
Brenda Wilson,
Aye.
Steve Ellis,
Aye.
Vicky Wager,
Aye.
Brad Anderson,
Aye.
and David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. What, did I mess these up?
No, we're.
Solid waste.
Solid waste next.
Solid waste is next.
Page 10.
Page 10.
Again, same thing. Not going to read the, if it's all right with everybody, the paragraph that I read in the initial Vigo County. This is for Vigo County Solid Waste Management District. Name of adopting entity, the Vigo County Council. Fiscal body is the County Council, and the date of adoption is 10/14 of 2025. The Special Solid Waste Management is in the amount of $442,700. This is the amount for solid waste management.
Discussion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Approved by Councilman Gentry, second by Councilman Anderson. Roll call, please.
Randy Gentry,
Aye.
Nancy Alsop,
Aye.
Brenda Wilson,
Aye.
Steve Ellis,
Aye.
Vicky Wager,
Aye.
Brad Anderson,
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Page 12, Honey Creek Fire Protection.
Again, the paragraph is the same as I read in the first one. This is for Honey Creek Fire Protection. In the amount of $3,781,156. This is the amount of the budget for the Honey Creek Fire Protection District.
Move to approve.
Moved to approve by Councilwoman
Second.
Wilson.
Second.
By Councilman Gentry. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion passes 7-0. Page 14, Negotiation Fire Protection District. Go ahead and read. It passed.
Still want me to do it?
Negotiation, correct.
Okay, thanks, that negotiation. All right, same heading, New Goshen Fire Protection District. Name of adopting entity, Vigo County Council. Name of fiscal body, County Council. Date of adoption, 10/14 of 25. New Goshen Fire Protection, $288,868. This is the total for the budget for New Goshen Fire Protection District.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilwoman Wilson.
Second.
Second by Councilman Gentry. Roll call, please.
Randy Gentry,
Aye.
Nancy Alsop, Brenda Wilson,
Aye.
Steve Ellis,
Aye.
Vicky Wager,
Aye.
Brad Anderson,
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Page 16, Lost Creek Fire Protection District.
So same heading again. Vigo County Council is the adopting entity. Fiscal bodies, County Council. Date of adoption, 10/14 of 25. Lost Creek Fire Protection District. The total for their budget is $527,174. And that is the total for them.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Gentry,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Wager. Roll call, please.
Randy Gentry.
Aye.
Nancy Alsop.
Aye.
Brenda Wilson.
Aye.
Steve Ellis.
Aye.
Vicky Wager.
Aye.
Brad Anderson.
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Page 18, Riley Fire Protection District.
Same heading. I thank you for allowing me to do that, by the way. For Riley Fire Protection District, name of adopting entity, Vigo County Council, fiscal body, County Council. Date of adoption, 10/14 of 25. Riley Fire Protection District budget total, $681,844. That is the total for Riley Fire Protection District.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Gentry,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Alsop. Roll call, please.
Randy Gentry,
Aye.
Nancy Alsop.
Aye.
Brenda Wilson.
Aye.
Steve Ellis.
Aye.
Vicky Wager.
Aye.
Brad Anderson.
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Page 20, Sugar Creek Township Fire District.
Again, same heading, fiscal body, Vigo County Council. This is for Sugar Creek Township Fire District. Fiscal body, County Council. Date of adoption, 10/14 of 25. The total budget for Sugar Creek Township Fire District is $1,221,279. That is the total for Sugar Creek Township Fire District budget.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman Wilson,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Alsop. Roll call, please.
Randy Gentry.
Aye.
Nancy Alsop.
Aye.
Brenda Wilson.
Aye.
Steve Ellis.
Aye.
Vicky Wager.
Aye.
Brad Anderson.
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Page 22, Prairieton Fire Protection District.
Same heading, name of adopting entity, fiscal body, Vigo County Council, fiscal body, County Council. Date of adoption, 10/14 of 25. This is for Prairieton Fire Protection District. The total for Prairieton Fire Protection District is $366,700. $685. That is the total budget for Prairiton Fire Protection District.
Motion by Councilwoman Wilson.
Second.
Second by Councilman Gentry. Roll call, please.
Randy Gentry.
Aye.
Nancy Alsop.
Aye.
Brenda Wilson.
Aye.
Steve Ellis.
Aye.
Vicky Wager.
Aye.
Brad Anderson.
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Final reading of Capital Improvement Board, 2026, page 24.
This is the final reading for the Capital Improvement Board 2026 budget. Receipts, total receipts, $4,771,000. And total disbursements, $9,700,000. This is the budget for Capital Improvement Board 2026 budget.
Mr. President, parliamentary inquiry. When this shows receipts and disbursements, this is a different format than the other ones. Can I get some explanation as to how to read this? Mr. Auditor?
Why this is a different format.
I do not.
Here we go.
I'm just questioning, somebody can explain total receipts and then later on says total disbursements. I'm just trying to wrap, is this essentially we're allocating 5 million? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Were you going to make comments?
Good evening, Council President Thompson and members of the Vigo County Council. As a constituent and mayor of Terre Haute, it's great to come up and speak here today. The question is with regards to the Vigo County Capital Improvement Board as to why the receipts and disbursements are a little bit different. So the Capital Improvements Board, it gets a mixture of receipts through different methods, right? The City of Terre Haute through EDIT to help pay off the bond, the Vigo County, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and those three were determined in the state law for food and beverage tax and food and beverage tax receipts itself. The disbursements are listed here, and they don't have the series like you normally see in your budgets, but essentially you've got the CIB and the County Council. The County Council serves as, to put it in simple terms, the backup. In the event that this board would be unable to make a bond payment, that is when the CIB would be needed, the County Council would be needed to take action. So since the County Council is not necessarily overseeing the board itself, and instead the property tax backup to a bond, we do a one-page executive summary of our budget and then simplify it to receipts and disbursements, then bring it to all of you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Point of clarification. So if we're looking at this, we're showing disbursements exceed receipts by approximately, you've got my piece of paper, by 5 million. So are we?
That's a great question, Councilman Gentry, and I'll hop in here. So what we did is a couple of months ago, everyone said, oh my gosh, we got to save the Indiana Theater. And I was quoted in the Tribune-Star, and I probably shouldn't have said this. What are we doing with a study that cost $27 million to fix the theater? We can't build the Taj Mahal of theaters. And I thought it was funny, but it was kind of in bad taste, and I apologize for that comment. But what I did do is say, let's take a look at this asset we have in downtown Terre Haute. Does it make sense to spend $27 million through the CIB to fix that? It does not. One, because that board does not have the bonding capacity. So with the CIB, with PS Lit, with any budget, as you're getting revenue, when people say, hey, we have money, you either have it in the bank or you have what's called the bonding capacity to take a bond out for a project. We know that we do not have the bonding capacity for that project. So instead, what we did this year is we said, let's just fix the roof, which is about $500,000. A lot of you guys, I'm sure, have experience with buildings. Let's stop water from draining in. Once we do that, let's plan to do what's called a public RFP. And we as a board want to say, hey, can someone else who runs theaters come in and take a look at this problem, manage it, operate it, and try to bring in revenue? In the event that that does not happen, and we cannot do that, and no one wants to come run this theater, we developed a contingency plan to the tune of $5 million to say, hey, this is what we'll invest in the facility to get it going. Now, very unlikelihood that that even happens. But as mayor of the city of Terre Haute, something that I do is I say, let's bring the maximum possible disbursements. Let's communicate to our county council or our city council the worst case scenario financially and approve that. So we can at least say, if everything goes the way we don't expect it, this is what we expect, right? And it basically says, as a backup, here's what we think we could spend on that. But I doubt we get there. Something that I've done as treasurer and hope to continue to grow with the CIB next year. We've already started to work with legal counsel, and I know legal counsel has been a pretty interesting discussion tonight, but I've been working with legal counsel to develop this RFP, to put it out to not just the city of Terre Haute, the Midwest, but the nation, to find someone else to come run this theater. My personal thought, not my mayor's thought, is government should not be running a movie theater or entertainment venue of this scale. So let's find someone to do it in the private sector. We do have that in our cash balance, the extra amount. However, I would doubt we would ever use it because it would lower your account's balance so much that you wouldn't have the money to make a backup bond payment in the event that food and beverage tax stopped. So this is not a placeholder, but a contingency line item in the event that the discussions that we've had for private management of the CIB's Indiana Theater do not occur.
So would the county be essentially on the hook for $5,190,000? However, if the plan goes the best way it could,
Yeah.
you're not going to need that money from the county?
You're using the term county, and here that's incorrect, but here's why. It's not necessarily would the county be on the hook, it would be would the CIB be on the hook, which manages and oversees the funds brought in from food and beverage tax. Because in your receipt section, I apologize, I'm holding your paper, but in the receipt section it says Terre Haute, Vigo County, and CVB. Councilman Gentry, those three are for a little bit operations of the convention center, but the majority for the bond payment for the convention center. So that, in theory, would be the answer to your question, what we would ever be on the hook for. This would be coming from the food and beverage tax revenue, which is a different line, but I can't legally break out a food and beverage tax budget and what the other units of government do for the CIB budget. It all has to be one budget, and that's why it's awkwardly placed here. The one-word answer to your question is no.
Okay, clear as mud. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I
Thank
have
you,
my paper
Councilman
back?
Gentry. I will hand you your paper back.
The one reason the format is different is because we enter the budgets into Gateway. This one we do not enter into Gateway, and that's why the different format.
Thank you. We'll take a motion.
I'm assuming you researched this forward and backwards before you presented it.
brings in a lot of money.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman Wilson,
I'll second.
second by Councilwoman Olson. Roll call vote, please.
Randy Gentry,
Aye.
Nancy Alsup,
Aye.
Brenda Wilson,
Aye.
Steve Ellis,
Aye.
Vicky Wager,
Aye.
Brad Anderson,
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Petition to appeal for an increase above the maximum levy, Lost Creek Fire Growth Factor, page 26. Is there someone here from Lost Creek?
Mr. President, members of the council, John Hendricks, Deputy Chief, Cedarville Fire Department. So we had proposed 2 resolutions to the council. One was for extension of services into Nevins Township. Another was for a levy growth rate increase for Lost Creek Township. So essentially the extension of services, back in 2022, we began the process of bringing Nevins Township into the Lost Creek Fire District. That process went, I can't say it didn't go without its problems, but it did go through, and the extension of services would allow us to continue those services in Nevins Township for fire protection. The growth rate increase essentially is just a increase based on an increase in assessed valuation for Lost Creek Township. I actually got asked earlier today what we would use essentially that money for. It's approximately, I believe, $20,000. And so in 1988, when the fire department was established, we were a BLS non-transport agency. That was when the district was established, I apologize. And we would like to move up to an advanced life support non-transport agency. It's a very expensive venture, but I think it would be great for our residents that we could provide advanced life support procedures in the field.
Mr. President, tell me about that advanced life support procedure a little bit.
So essentially right now we are what's called a basic life support agency. So we can provide limited medical treatment.
I do understand that part, but then crank it up a notch.
Yep. So advanced life support would allow us to give essentially IVs in the field. We could treat for people that are suffering from low blood sugar. We can give first-line cardiac drugs in the field for people that have a heart attack or in cardiac arrest. So just a little bit more advanced skills that we'd be able to perform.
So for your location, that would be primo. That would be really good.
It would be very helpful, especially with Nevins Township. We are, in certain cases, 25 minutes away from having an ambulance on scene. So,
Mr. President, I'm sorry, are you done?
No, go ahead, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't want, I have the floor. Question?
Finished.
Council members, I spent some time with Chief Deputy Hendricks on the phone, trying to learn a little bit more about exactly what's going on with this. And what I've actually determined is that Lost Creek took over a section of Nevins that was essentially without service. I mean, essentially Nevins Township was to the point where they were not funded and medical calls were not being responded. Lost Creek entered into, and Chief Deputy, if I misspeak, please interrupt me because I'm leading to what I want the council members to know and what I suggest that you do next month as well, is that Lost Creek entered into a contract with Nevins to pick up their service, but yet Lost Creek taxpayers were the ones flipping the bill. Nevins was unable to meet the initial contract amount, and Lost Creek was shorted. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think you only received $10,000 for service for that first contract, is that right? Or were you 10,000 short on that first one?
in 23, we received $20,000.
Okay, so we were 10 grand short on that initial, then you came back and entered into an additional contract, correct, to continue to have coverage within Nevins?
Yes.
And that terminates at the end of this year.
Yes.
And right now, the way the funding is going, Nevins is only going to be able to cover a portion of the actual contract that you entered into, correct?
Yes.
So council members, I think that, again, it has little to do with these two items, but these two items actually correct the problem for Lost Creek moving forward, effective January 2026. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
It makes it so Lost Creek does not have to enter into contracts with Nevins and can receive the tax revenue directly. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, essentially, come January 1st of next year, we will no longer be able to contract with the trustee up there because they are going to be part of the fire district. So this makes sure that we can receive taxation from Nevins Township residents.
So I would like to make a request of the chief deputy to appear before us next month. Council can vote yea or nay on this, but They have been providing excellent service to Nevins, and there has not been the funds returned to Lost Creek. So essentially, Lost Creek taxpayers have been having to pick up this amount that was underpaid on the contracts. And I think it would be worthy to look at possibly our public safety lid, or who knows, where else, maybe even the general fund, to possibly make Lost Creek whole. I don't know the legalities of that. I'll let everybody else kind of work that out. Mr. Hendricks, you can work with our council, but I would encourage you to come before the council next month if you can get on the agenda, and see whether the council would have an appetite to get you back to basically refund you the money that you were out by going the extra mile to provide this service. So nothing further, Mr. President.
Motion to approve by Councilwoman Wilson,
Second.
second by Councilman Gentry. Roll call, please.
Randy Gentry.
Aye.
Nancy Alsup.
Aye.
Brenda Wilson.
Aye.
Steve Ellis.
Aye.
Vicky Wager.
Aye.
Brad Anderson.
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Motion to approve on the second one?
Got one more. Petition to, what page are we on, 27? Petition to appeal for an increase above the maximum levy, fire extension and services. Motion to approve by
Second.
Councilman Gentry. Second. Did I hear that?
Yeah.
Second by Councilwoman Wager. Roll call vote, please.
Randy Gentry.
Aye.
Nancy Alsup.
Aye.
Brenda Wilson.
Aye.
Steve Ellis.
Aye.
Vicky Wager. Brad Anderson.
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0.
Can I make one other comment?
Yes.
You had a whole bunch of school board people around you. Were you able to talk about the fire prevention on the school buses?
I was not. I think
There's a little
that,
bit more going on, right?
yeah, I was, I'm glad I wasn't the first person to have to come to the podium tonight, so luckily. We are currently working on procedures for EV fires. I think it's important to notate that while we are working on a good procedure, because most fire departments don't have a great procedure right now for EV fires, we do have equipment that is there and available. It's just not the best options that we can have. These things don't necessarily happen every day, and I think that we need to make that very clear. But when they do happen, they are very difficult to put out. I just want to make sure that people don't get afraid that, these buses drive down the road or these electric vehicles just up and catch fire all at once. That doesn't necessarily happen on a regular basis. So we are working on those procedures, and hopefully I'll be able to bring back something to the county to let you guys know kind of what procedures we're working on with that. So,
Great, thank you.
yep, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep, we appreciate it. I would like to say just real quick, I saw that Mr. Shackelford from Honey Creek Fire District is here. I had the ability to take their structural collapse test, or structural collapse class that they put on, and that was a fantastic class. Awesome instructors, and like myself, many other departments, we are so thankful that Honey Creek Fire District and Honey Creek Fire Department hosted that class, and they were able to put that class on for us. So thanks.
Good.
Awesome.
Thank you. Moving on, Resolution 2025-4. Amended Statement of Benefits for Tax Abatement of Great Dane, page 28.
Sorry to make you wait so long.
Not at all. Mr. President, members of the council, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Brent Alberry. I'm an attorney at Faegre Drinker. And with me is Mr. Corey Lookabill, who is the Executive Director of Manufacturing at Great Dane. And essentially, Great Dane was approved for property tax abatement, both real and personal. And the original is a three-phase project. I'm happy to report Phase 1 is completely done, but due to circumstances that Corey can get into, Phases 2 and 3 are going to take a little bit longer than anticipated. And so the request, we are asking to amend the statement of benefits in exactly one way. We would like the target completion date moved back from 12/31 of 2025 to 12/31 of 2027. Last week, there were two questions essentially that arose. One was, can you provide any sort of timeline for the next steps of the next two phases? And then, since at least two of the council members are new and had not been around when the original abatement was approved, just can we provide a little more background on the request and what's going on at Great Dane? And so I'm going to leave that part to Corey, but on the first part, I was able to provide to the auditor a screenshot from Great Dane that identifies 8 distinct target dates for steps which are the start of production. These all occur in 2026, so there's 8 different targets where either a start of a production of a component part or the start of production of an assembly process are expected to take place. And this is all part of Phase 2. And then the other thing I just wanted to speak to is we have recently put a down payment on equipment for several millions of dollars for that Phase 2. And combining that with the spend that has already occurred, we're over 90%. Once the Phase 2 equipment is purchased, that will be over 90% towards the target amount. So with that, I'm happy to address any questions, but I will turn it over to Corey to talk about the project.
So the overall project, and I think several of you were on site at the Central Fab grand opening, is to centralize the assembly of any major steel components that are in trailer assemblies that happen at 9 of our manufacturing facilities all over the United States. So we're bringing all of that work into an advanced manufacturing cell, all robotically welded, robotically formed, robotic laser cut steel, and then assembling those parts at the Terre Haute campus that will then feed into the Zinc Power project that was just launched to the east side of our campus on the north end of Terre Haute. So happy to answer any questions related to project delays. We've had some issues early on with design validation and buy-off with some of our vendors in Colorado and the individual designs of what those weld cells look like in order to accommodate several designs that come from our product engineering group. We've worked through all those issues now. Weld cells are on the way, and we should be in, like we touched on, Brent touched on, SOP for the last assembly in this phase is slated for Q4 of 2026. So, questions?
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Questions from council. Councilman Gentry.
I don't know if either one of you can address this, but based off of this extension of the abatement, this will likely take you into what SB 1 will afford you folks is the drastic change in business personal property. Is that, and so if we extend this abatement, it's going to take you into that. Is there a benefit? Are you to that? I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm just asking moving forward is takes us through late 26, 2027, I believe, is when the business property tax will drop off.
Are you referring to the cap that was raised to $2 million?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think I'm happy to report we will be well
You'll go
above that.
2 million. Okay. All right. Yeah. I didn't know whether that was broken out because this is an individual project, whether it's per project or is it company-wide across, like, I know you've got the facility in Clay County as well, so it would all add up into one?
So the investments that are on the statement of benefits, those are investments for Vigo County and for
Okay.
this facility. And I didn't mention it, but we still intend to hit the targets that are in the SB ones.
Okay. We really appreciate your partnership in our community. I know it was a big deal when you decided to do this expansion. Of course, we're disappointed that it's not moving faster, but we all know the dynamics that are affecting us across the world. So thank you again for what you guys do to our community, and we look forward to the project being completed. Thank you, Mr. President.
You guys had to move a lot of dirt, didn't you?
We did.
Wow.
We moved a lot of dirt.
Built
and,
that up.
Zinc Power moved a tremendous amount of dirt in order
Yeah.
to build that property up for
Sure did.
their facility. So we're excited to we'll start transporting product down the road that was added to the facility here, probably within the next couple of months. So they're on target for end of the year.
Good deal.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments from council? Take a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Anderson, second by Councilwoman Wager. Roll call vote, please.
Randy Gentry,
Aye.
Nancy Alsop, Brenda Wilson,
Aye.
Steve Ellis,
Aye.
Vicky Wager,
Aye.
Brad Anderson,
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Thank you. Parks and Recreation, Hoosier Jack Land Company License Agreement, page 38.
Adam Grossman, Superintendent, Vigo County Parks. Here for any questions.
Questions for Adam?
I think he explained that at the Sunshine meeting pretty well. It's just a coverage. I'd move we approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Anderson, second by Councilwoman Wager. Roll call vote, please.
Randy Gentry,
Aye.
Nancy Alsop,
Aye.
Brenda Wilson,
Aye.
Steve Ellis,
Aye.
Vicky Wager,
Aye.
Brad Anderson,
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution of reallocation of existing appropriation, 2025-07. Clerk's Office, transfer of funds. Page 42.
Good evening, Council. Leanna Moore, Vigo County Clerk. And if you have any questions, I think we went over this pretty well last week as well.
Questions for Leanne?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Gentry, second by Councilwoman Wager. Roll call vote, please.
Randy Gentry,
Aye.
Nancy Alsop,
Aye.
Brenda Wilson,
Aye.
Steve Ellis,
Aye.
Vicky Wager,
Aye.
Brad Anderson,
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you so much.
Amended salary ordinance 2025-20. Clerk's Office.
Nope.
Salary ordinance, page 43.
I thought I was
think
done.
yeah, one more after this one. This is the amended
Just a
salary.
salary
ordinance.
adjustment.
Yeah, this is just the salary adjustment.
Questions for
Mr. President,
Councilman Gentry?
just verifying, what we're trying to do here is change the salary ordinance. You're not asking for
I'm
more
not
money.
asking
This is
for
not
any
an
more money,
appropriation.
right.
We're just correcting the record.
That is correct, yes.
Motion to approve, Mr. President.
Motion by
Second.
Councilman Gentry, second by Councilman Wilson. Roll call, please.
Randy Gentry,
Aye.
Nancy Alsop,
Aye.
Brenda Wilson,
Aye.
Steve Ellis,
Aye.
Vicky Wager,
Aye.
Brad Anderson,
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes
Stay
7-0.
All
right
right,
there.
thank you again.
You got one more.
Wait a minute.
You got one more.
I'm ready to sit
Ordinance
down.
is related to appropriations.
Okay.
Additional appropriation.
Yeah, this is
2025
the real important one.
Additional appropriation 2025-50, Clerk's Office, salary ordinance correction, page 44. Questions or comments from council? Motion to approve by Councilwoman Wilson,
Second.
second by Councilman Anderson. Roll call vote, please.
Discussion, sir?
Discussion, go ahead.
So this money, this is an appropriated amount of money? This is in the appropriations? I thought we didn't need money.
The, excuse me, the correction on the last one is just to correct the salary ordinance. There's not an appropriation for the salary ordinance. There's just the change of line item from one line item to another.
Yeah, I thought, correct,
This is still Leo's salary?
Yeah.
this is the old salary?
This is for the one that got missed.
Microphone, make sure you're on the mic so people at home can hear you.
This is for the one that got missed for clerk perpetuation when you approved the clerks earlier in the year.
Yeah, I thought that's,
The one employee that didn't.
This is the money that's coming out of the different fund. It
Yes,
was
yes,
not
the
the same
yeah,
fund
the
that pays all your other
perpetuation
clerks,
fund. Right,
and we need to appropriate the money out of that?
yes.
No match found.
They didn't
I don't know what that was. Motion to approve, Mr. President.
It's already been moved.
Roll call vote, please.
Randy Gentry.
Aye.
Nancy Alsop.
Aye.
Brenda Wilson.
Aye.
Steve Ellis.
Aye.
Vicky Wager.
Aye.
Brad Anderson.
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Now you're done.
Be seated.
Now I'm done? Okay.
Additional appropriation 2025-51, group homes, emergency repairs, page 45.
Mr. President, members of the council, Norm Loudermilk, Executive Director of Vigo County Home for Children. We discussed this last week. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Gentry,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Wilson. Roll call vote, please.
Randy Gentry.
Aye.
Nancy Alsop.
Aye.
Brenda Wilson.
Aye.
Steve Ellis.
Aye.
Vicky Wager.
Aye.
Brad Anderson.
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Additional appropriation 2025-52, prosecutor's office, infraction deferral fund request, page 46.
Good evening.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilwoman Wilson, second by Councilwoman Alsop. Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Randy Gentry.
Aye.
Nancy Alsop.
Aye.
Brenda Wilson.
Aye.
Steve Ellis.
Aye.
Vicky Wager.
Aye.
Brad Anderson.
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Additional appropriation 2025-53, commissioners. Lit Correctional Rehab Facilities funding request, page 47.
Any questions?
For Commissioner Schweitzer? Not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Anderson, second by Councilwoman Wilson.
I need to know, though, guys, which fund you want me to pull it from, or you guys want to pull it from. 1133 or 1141,
What's your recommendation?
or is it 1233?
1233
1233 is my recommendation.
1233 is the
Yeah.
recommendation.
The lit, yep.
You want to include that in your motion?
Or I don't need to know, the auditor's office needs to know.
He'll have it.
Amend your motion.
Okay, just make it clear which one it is. 1233?
Motion is to pull the money from Fund 1233.
Yep.
Second by Councilwoman Wilson. Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Randy Gentry.
No.
Nancy Alsop.
Aye.
Brenda Wilson.
Aye.
Steve Ellis.
Aye.
Vicky Wager.
Aye.
Brad Anderson.
Aye.
David Thompson.
Aye. Motion passes 6-1. All right, honorary resolutions. There are none. Resolutions related to fiscal policies of the council. There are none. Appointments? None. Public comment?
Good evening, Council President, members of the Vigo County Council. I come before you today because a comment was made earlier regarding the city requesting $1 million for a trail, and I'm going to go ahead and clarify. That project was applied for about 3.5, 4 years ago. It was split between the city and county. I received a request this summer by county officials to explore a partnership between the city and county to help due to the financial losses of Senate Bill 1. In the city, we've mapped out those losses over the next 3 years. We've calculated what we would get with an income tax. We also calculated what the county would get, and we recognize that those numbers aren't the same based off of how the state wrote the code. I decided not to ask you for any PS public safety lit funds because that would set the precedent that any public safety department could come and ask for the current funding in your PS lit accounts, even though you have debt obligations. Instead, I was asked to bring forth a plan on a project that the city and county were already working on to see if the county had the financial means to do that. I was told yes. I presented at a budget meeting. If those funds are not there, I'm very okay saying, well, sorry, I was asked if that was an option that you all wanted to explore. And if you don't want to explore that, I'm very happy stepping back saying, okay, well, we don't have to explore that. But that was a request that I made at the behest of this council and this council's budget committee. So I'd ask that in the next couple of weeks you kind of review that. And if you do want to support it and go through with it, we can. And if not, you know, we'll grab our ball and continue in our game, and city and the county can kind of go off and be. Secondly, I would double check some of the levies of one of those, but I'll come talk to you after about that, Larry. So the other thing is, I think that there was a lot of confusion tonight, whether it's Robert's Rules of Order, whether it's the Independent Oversight Commission. So I must say, great work, Councilman Ellis. Great work. Your video, your reach, your message. I do think some of the things in that video were incorrect, right? And I think what frustrates me is an independent oversight committee would have had the ability to partner with any of our 4 colleges to pursue, there's a huge foundation called the Lilly Foundation, which does CCC grants. Those are grants that they use to partner with higher education to solve problems in the community. Colleges can apply for that with quasi-government boards, not necessarily with the city or county itself. That ability is gone. The ability to move foundation dollars directly into account for this is still technically there, but without oversight, it can now be done with 0 input from any elected member outside of the school board. You're shaking your head, so I'd ask your question, your thought on that, Councilman Gentry.
Mr. President, may I have the floor?
Yes.
Mayor, I, with all due respect, I think we've already debated this, but what I want to say to you is,
Yep.
no action that this council took tonight stopped the formation of an oversight body. The misinformation that was, let me finish. The Indiana law that was carried by Senator Good, that ultimately passed the House and the Senate, that was signed by the governor, gave the ability of the Oversight Commission, the establishment, to the commissioners. I questioned that from day one. I was assured that that was the best place for it. The only thing that occurred tonight was we returned the voice to the people. They have the opportunity to say yes or no. They want to move forward. That committee could be set up within the next 15 minutes. If the 3 commissioners want to, they're never recessed, they can set that commission up. And if they, and the key factor is you want to say, well, money. And I think Councilman Ellis was very clear. Why are we taking on the responsibility of the Oversight Commission when the city can do it? If you want to fund it, you want to go get funding from wherever. So the point is I think, again, the rhetoric has got to stop. We've got to get to some very factual scenarios here. The Oversight Commission was not stopped.
So
all we did was return the voice to the people and said, people in the community, if you want to help, tell us, and we will jump in with 2 feet and help.
So right there, your comment right there is kind of my exact point. You said if the city wants to do it, the city could fund it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if the city wants to fund it, the reason why the county council was considered is the county has more seats on that independent oversight committee. Why would the city, who only has 1 seat appointed by the mayor, push to fund that? If you would like for us to fund it, we will, but Councilman Gentry, nonetheless, creating the committee or not creating the committee is not necessarily my frustration. My frustration is today you said you needed 2/3 votes, not once, but twice. You had 4 out of 7 votes, which
Sir,
comes
that's
out to
incorrect.
57%.
The rules are clear. I've already seen text messages that you're passing around.
I've not sent a single text
People
about
are
you
sending
on
text
this.
messages. And Mr. President, I would say that I was very, very clear. If any one of us wants to put forth, right now, I could put forth an ordinance. But because it did not have the 7 days from the sunshine to the regular, it requires a 2/3 vote to actually take that vote today. Mr. Ellis read this in at the sunshine per our own rules.
I'm agreeing with you on that.
7 days.
I'm
And then
asking
he
you
brought it back.
to do 4
No
divided by
2/3 is
7.
required. It's simple
4 divided by
majority.
7.
I'm not going to talk over you, Mr. Mayor, but the bottom line is we've already gone through this. I've read the rules forward and backwards, and if I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will make sure that I'm corrected. But I don't want to leave this meeting. One, the public needs to know. One, there is nothing stopped in regards to an oversight commission. The council, the commissioners can do it. It was always their right. Nothing we can do. We can't vote to establish. And I kept telling people around the community, I have no voice on this. I have no say. Nobody up here has a say to do that. It was given by Indiana law to the commissioners. The only thing that was ever going to come up is whether the county was going to fund this, whether we were going to pay for the lawyers, whether we were going to pay for the architect, whether we were going to pay for the site examination, whether we were going to pay for construction. That was the only thing that was actually part of this conversation, is who's going to pay for this. So I just want the public to know that if the commissioners want to set this commission up, it's in their court. And so I don't want people to leave thinking that we somehow stopped that. What we did, Mayor, one more time, what we did, we returned the voice to the public to let the public determine whether they want to support the school or not. Oversight Commission can start tomorrow for all I care.
Well, that is completely incorrect. Because
Really?
there was no
Really?
request for architectural designs pre-site development. The request-
Administrative assistant,
Randy, you don't want him talking over you. I don't expect you to talk over him.
I think, you know what would be easier, Councilman Gentry, is if you and I had this conversation after.
sounds great.
Because I think we're both close. I think we're kind of talking on 95%, and let's get to the last 5%. So I'll speak with you afterwards
Thank
on
you,
the
sir.
matter.
I appreciate it.
I am here to offer, if this council would like to explore the funding for the legal fees for the Oversight Committee with the city, to by all means shoot me an email. I'd be happy to sit down and discuss that with the city council. I'd be happy to discuss it at a public meeting, because that would help create the committee to explore all funding options. I am not here to comment on a public vote for a referendum. I am here to remind folks that when you encourage a public referendum, that would lead to higher property taxes. And this committee has an opportunity to help fix schools without increasing property taxes. I do concur with Councilman Gentry's comments on the creation of the committee to that point. My concern is, how did we get to this point when the request for funding for that committee is now not even able to be brought forth? So you could create a committee, but how would you handle it? And you have more seats on the board than other individuals. But we can figure that out amongst ourselves at any given time.
Councilwoman Wilson.
It was my understanding that the casino funds were going to fund play a large role in funding the
That's it.
formation of the committee anyway, so I don't even know
Yeah.
why.
Yes, yeah, I think Commissioner Schweitzer's on it, said it was going to come from gaming revenue.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I-
no property taxes would have been used for this tonight.
For the,
Thank you. I appreciate your comments.
Yep.
So
I don't know if I can call on you. I'm sorry. I actually think that Councilman Thompson has to call on you. I apologize.
So just to clarify, if there was a committee formed, would anyone be on payroll? Would any of that committee be on payroll, or is it volunteer?
I was told it was a volunteer, and through the state legislation, there's nothing in there about compensation. Unless I'm incorrect, I did not see anything about compensation for this committee.
So, and I concur, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So my question is, the only thing that this ordinance stops is the funding of it. Why can those volunteers not still get together and still do what they want to do and explore the options and come back and present it? That's all that we have said in here, is that we are not going to allocate funding. But if you get a private donor that wants to fund something that you need, or if everybody just simply wants to volunteer, which I recommended several times, there's no reason we need to fund this to the tune of even $1. If you've got volunteers that want to go out and do something good for the community, they can go out and do this without funding from the county.
No one's disagreeing you with that point, Councilman Ellis. But what the conversation at hand is about this committee is to explore all levels of funding.
Sure.
Private, you mentioned donors, grants, which has been mentioned several times tonight, foundations, or a public taxing entity. An official committee does need to be created to follow open door laws, the state transparency laws, and Robert's Rules of Order. That would be the expectation of that committee if you're going to have any discussion over taxpayer funding. I mean, I'm kind of perplexed, because what you're saying is we can do that right now. Anyone can do that for any organization. Sure. But we're playing legal gymnastics around the fact that folks want to look at an opportunity to help schools. If any thought or potential of taxpayer dollars were going to be involved, we should follow the right rules, set up this committee, open door, transparency laws, and follow the same laws that you follow, the city council follows, the Board of Works follows, the Board of Zoning Appeals follow.
You could choose to still be transparent if this small group of people wanted to continue to be transparent. The issue is not that, I don't think there's anyone up here that's against having better facilities. There's no one up here that's against
Yeah.
forming a committee if that's what you guys want to do. I would gladly help out for free if you guys said you needed it. But Vicki said she would. You'd probably have several people up here that would. The problem is that we have a lot of committees in our community right now. We spend, just recently, and I voted in favor of approving
Yeah.
it, we just spent $900,000 on a building, for plans for a building, and that came from the recommendation of a committee. So all we're simply saying is, if we're going to be appropriating funds, which we don't have to begin with, but if we did have it, then we would want to have a voice in that, not a committee telling us what we should do. This is the fiscal body. And so if you have a committee that wants to come up and make a recommendation after the fact, and we look at it, who knows what happens at that point? If you guys come up with alternative funding, but
Well, it's not you guys, right? You're saying you guys as if it's like me and some
because
cabal
you're the
of
voice
people
right
behind
now.
me.
Because
right.
you're the voice, I'm saying you guys.
So, and I just want to be clear, is the way that this was written in the state code literally gave the county council seats in that committee. And you're saying that we have too many committees, we've got committees, right? I get it. Look, I'm the guy, I do task forces for the city, because that way you can just take a problem, take a stab at it, get it to go, but those task forces don't require additional taxpayer funding. So I'm trying to figure out how we can still follow the state's open door and transparency laws if we're going to have a conversation about government funding, private funding, or foundations to help a public school corporation. And I think that's the question that I would ask my council. I'm going to ask additional council as well. Of course, I'll call Councilman Gentry. I do enjoy our discussions, as colorful as we get. He lives in my parents' neighborhood, so I have to be kind of nice. But I think we got off the point very quickly tonight, and I think a conversation needs to be had about whether or not this council is even interested in a conversation around schools that requires something outside of property taxes to happen. That's just my perspective on it.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
President Thompson and council members, Joe Shackelford, the Hunting Creek Fire Protection District trustees. I have a question. When you were doing the binding budgets, I did not hear a voice vote on the Hunting Creek Fire Protection District budget. You did and I'm afraid when they submit it to the state, we might not be approved.
Well, was it not in?
You did a voice.
Is that the one I said?
You did a voice vote, but not a roll call.
Not a roll call vote.
Thank you, and I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It passed 7-0. I didn't hear any nays.
Joe's automatic.
Matt Larmer, 363 West Ketzinger Drive. I don't know, do we have to say our address here? I know that a lot of people are upset with the council about the decision that was made tonight. And I'm a little frustrated, mostly by there not being public input allowed. But what I do want to say to the people that are the most upset is I think that anger is mostly misdirected. I believe that the state has put us in this position. The state of Indiana, leaders in the state of Indiana for decades have made decisions that have got our public servants fighting each other because we don't have the money to fund, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, the basic needs for our county employees, for our teachers, for our kids, and
Especially for the school.
and you might disagree with the decision that was made, and you might be angry with this council, and I think you're partly justified in that. But all I'm asking is that you put the majority of your frustration where it should be, which is the leaders of the state who have given hundreds of millions of dollars of our tax money to giant public corporations. They have sold our state down the river. And that has caused our community to have to be fighting each other for we're not asking for the world. We're talking about the basics for our community. And our community's fighting to feed our kids, to educate our kids. And I just want to make sure that you can be frustrated at them, but make sure it's not, make sure the anger is where it's supposed to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Council. My name is Leela Porter. I live in Vigo County. I'm not going to say my home address. No offense. I've lived in Vigo County all my life. I went to Terre Haute North Vigo High School. I do think that our schools are in disrepair. My mother, my father, they all went to North and South. So I agree that we do need better facilities. I understand that it's out of our hands now in this situation. I do agree with my fellow Hoshin here that it is the state's responsibility. I honestly do want to speak about the school, but I also want to bring to the attention of all Hoosiers that the Indiana BMV sells all of our private information, and there's no way to opt out of that. I understand that's not in your guys' hands, but there's no way to opt out of that, even though there was a federal law passed in 1994 stating that all states should allow people to opt out of selling that information. And between 2023 and today, 2013 and today, they've made over $250 million selling that information, and we don't know where that money's going, where the information's going. I've called the BMV and asked them, and the woman I spoke to who worked there thought I was making it up. So I want to use this platform to inform all Hoosiers of that issue because it's something that not many people know about. But furthermore, on the schools, they are in disrepair, and there's mold, there's issues. Even the newer additions to the schools that are new still have issues. So I think we need to focus on not just how much money it's going to take to build these schools and what goes into it, but how we're going to maintain them. Because before we get something new, we need to take care of what we have. Especially when people are wanting to move, like Sarah Scott, that's one of our newest schools we have in Vigo County, and you want to take all of those children who mostly live in the subsidized housing there, and you want to take that school away. I think that that is wrong. So it's not just the high schools that are being affected. So I wanted to get up here and say that, and I do agree that the state of Indiana has put us in this position, and they have sold us down the river, like literally, quite literally. Like, I'm sure everyone in here has a state ID or a license, so literally all of us are being sold and without our knowledge or without any prevention of that. So I appreciate, you guys. I appreciate you, Councilman Ellis, and I'm here because I did watch that video. Some people may disagree with the things you said or whatever, but I seem to be one of the younger people that's in here. I'm probably one of the most recent graduates of North. I mean, there's some other young folks in here too, but so I appreciate you for posting that. I worked until 6, but I got here and I wanted to make sure I was able to speak. I haven't been to a school board meeting or a council meeting in a very long time, but I personally think that we have a culture issue in the schools, not just like with the students and with the teachers, but clearly, like I was saying about the maintenance, like we have an issue of taking care of things, and not just things, but our students. Like, so many students go home, they don't have electricity, they don't have heat, they don't have clothes, they don't have food. People's food stamps are being cut. I spoke with a woman today who, her food stamps were cut, so she has 3 kids, she doesn't know how she's going to feed them. So I think that we need to focus on Hoosiers as a whole, or Hoshins, I guess, we live in Terre Haute. So I think that yes, we do need money for a new school, but what is the point of building a new school for children and they are going home, like they're going to a nice school and they can't even get free lunch? Like, I think that that's wrong to send kids in a new bus to a new shiny school and then you go home and you don't have anything. Like, you don't even have a bed to sleep on. Like, I know so many kids who would have to sleep on the floor, sleep with pets, sleep wherever. Like, so I think that, yes, we do need better schools, but we need better outreach for our students. There's, like, kids don't care about school. They don't like being there. They don't like being at home. Like, it's a bigger issue than just that things are moldy and wrong. Thank you.
Wow,
Okay.
wow.
Young lady, before you leave, would you stop and maybe share your, if you're willing to share maybe your cell phone and name with us? Maybe we can work together and try to make some changes? Of course. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Curtis DeBon. I'm on the Terre Haute City Council. I'm a teacher, I'm a realtor. Good time to buy, good time to sell a house. I've got cards in my wallet.
No advertising.
Before I say what I'm going to say, I do want to make it very, very clear. I really do appreciate the job each of you do. I know it can be difficult, I do. Even when I may disagree with you, when I may disagree with you strongly, I appreciate what you do. It's hard to be up there. I've been on the city council for almost 10 years now, and I understand our rules and processes are different, but I was a little appalled by a few things that happened this evening. Before I carry on with that real quick, I do want to say thank you, Councilman Ellis. We had a very good conversation on the phone over the weekend. I appreciate that. Councilman Thompson, you picked up the phone as well, and I know anybody else on this council probably would have picked up the phone if I called as well, so thank you. But tonight, look, I'll be honest, it kind of blows my mind, and it may be legal, it may be allowed, but a council person being able to come up with an ordinance on the spot, that ordinance not being advertised in a newspaper, that ordinance not being put up on a website, wow, that just blew my mind. And again, maybe that is your rules, and maybe that is allowed. But I had a hard time believing that. The second thing is, I've never, ever one time seen public comment on an agenda item denied in my time on the city council. And it is allowed. The state does not require that we allow public comment. I understand that. But as a previous speaker, Matt came up here and stated his thoughts on state government, which I agree with, Matt. I agree with that totally. We at the local level, in the city, in the county, on the school board, I don't know if all the school board members have left yet, but I thank them for their service as well. We've got to be better than the states. State government is awful, and we, as local government officials, we need to be transparent. We need to give the public an opportunity to read what you are voting on. No one was able to read the ordinance put forth by Councilman Ellis, and I'm not. Was it online? Well, I knew about it, but I did not read it. I did not see it online. It wasn't on the agenda tonight, on the paper agenda. Am I correct on that? Okay, I'm correct on that, right? Thank you, okay.
Not my choice.
Okay, maybe not, but that whole process kind of eludes me a little bit. It's odd. It's odd to me. And again, I'm sure it's allowed. I'm sure it's allowed, but it's different. But the public comment thing, that did really bother me. Especially, I'm going to pick on you, Councilman Ellis, even though, and a few others. I've heard a few people say, let's put this back on the people, right? Let's put this back on the people. Let's let them have their say. But they couldn't speak prior to the vote. I have a hard time with that. I'll leave it at that. And again, even though I'm being critical, and a little dumbfounded about this process, I do appreciate each of you on the council.
Mr. President?
Thank you. Yes.
Mr. DeBon?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate what you said. It's past my time to be able to place a motion on the table. I will promise you, at the next council meeting, I will ask for a change in the rules. The rules that were adopted by this council, I will make a change. I will request, council can vote, and I would like to move public comment to the beginning of the meeting, and just to correct that action. My point was, when we had a motion on the table and a second, based off of rules, it wasn't that I was trying to stifle people speaking. I wanted to stay within the rules, because if we did it for that, we would do it for everything. We'd be here until 1 a.m. probably for every meeting. So I will let you know. It won't make you probably any happier. Probably I'm going to take a lot of heat for that. But I will make a motion at the next meeting I'm not going to ask to be on the agenda, but I will make a motion during the official comment period for the elected officials to ask that the agenda reflect that public testimony comes at the beginning.
And while that doesn't necessarily make me feel better about tonight, I really appreciate that. I think that is a step in the right direction for a county government. And also moving public comment to the beginning, I think that is a good thing. And I will let you know with those changes, yeah, you might be here until 11:30. I've been on city council meetings until 11:30 at night. But it is what's best in the public interest, I believe. But thank you all for allowing me a few minutes to speak. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
Mr.
for the phone
President-
call, too.
Mr. President, I do have one note, Mr. DeBon. I would say that I was disappointed at a recent city council meeting when the council voted against a $70 million development out across the street from my house that would have put a lot of tax dollars into reducing our property taxes, but that's the way the ball bounces, so.
You should have come up and spoken about it.
Well, I spoke to a lot of council.
Oh, I know,
people,
but before the vote,
Well,
during public comment.
I know I could have done that, but I walked the precincts and I made my feelings known, but it didn't have much impact. I
Well,
like that $70 million investment in the community, though.
Again, I do appreciate it.
I'll
Thank you.
work on it.
Thank you.
Marie Thies, Vigo County, 5845 Camden Road. Used to live next to David. He knows where I live. Mr. Larimer pointed out changes in our state funding, and I apologize, I have to read it because I'm just trying to stay focused. Has pointed out changes in our state and funding. I do legislative work that have fought a lot of those changes. It has made our community have to get thinking outside of the box, and what Senator Good did for our community and for other schools and communities across the state is to look at that avenue. Partnerships have existed with our schools, our city, and other entities in history and in recent years. I voted on some of those things with some of you. The community, business, and schools have just asked for a conversation to continue, an avenue to continue to provide support as we have done to other entities. But the message was loud and clear, not just about that partnership, but about engagement from the county in potential funding. They have not asked for a certain amount. They have not asked for everything to be funded. We just want to know that there might be opportunities like we did with Wi-Fi access with Joink, like what we did with early child care centers with Indiana State, like what we did for Chances, that we could be considered in that entity. That $100,000 would have paid for to make sure everything was legal. My question for you is, did you do your due diligence in research and talking to people other than those who reached out to you? Teachers, families, did you listen to the wave of business people who supported discussion? How many schools did you visit while you were thinking about some of these things? How many schools have you visited in our state to compare our facilities? You might say this is not county council business, but our future development, those future businesses like Great Dane that just expanded, they look at our schools, whether you like that or not. I can tell you our community deserves more and a chance. We have people come from communities all the time to our facilities, including students that will one day be adults making decisions about applying for jobs and where they want to move in our state. They walk away right now from our schools saying they don't walk away saying that we have state champions or competitive scholars in top universities or leaders in labor movements. They walk away with views about our community, wrong or not. You've been given a chance to develop this community. I hope the conversation continues. I hope we have discussions, and I hope people know where the county stands on that. They will have to make those decisions. Our school corporation will have to make those decisions, and it would have been nice to have everyone at the table doing what's right for the future and planning of our community instead of just putting out issues left and right. Do something to make an impact. Will we continue to survive, or are we just going to actually consider thriving in our potential? Thank you.
Thank you, Marie.
Can I make a comment, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
First, I would like to thank you, and I do look forward to our conversation. We said we were going to get together and speak,
Yeah.
so I do look forward to that. As for have we reached out, I do want to at least address that. I did reach out personally to, I would say, at least a few hundred people, but I also, on my own dime, created videos, which I think most people have seen at this point, and I've reached independently approximately 60,000 people, overall views over 100,000 people, and had thousands of comments come back.
Of your followers, yes.
No, not my followers. I mean, they generally, they often speak against my position. So when you say that we didn't reach out and get public opinion, that is part of what formed my position on this, was there were so many overwhelming comments independently that there were very few that were in favor of putting county funds. And I think a part of it is, it's not that the community is against, I think the whole community wants something better done. I think what their position is, based on the literally thousands of comments that have come in, is that they're against putting a large school out east versus we have two properties that we already own that could potentially accommodate this. And you could spend, now I don't know if this is true, you'll have to speak to it as to whether or not it's true, but at least at a few presentations, the school board represented that they had $140 to $150 million. They could literally achieve goal one by giving the community a new school and tell us all to go pound sand by putting it either at north or south, either one.
You realize what has to be done to make that happen. It's physically, like your recommendation to move all the students from south to north is not possible. I work
West
in
and
that
north.
building.
West and north.
West and
You can
north.
split 'em.
Okay, but still, think about that. If you had a high school junior or senior that you had to uproot from that school and move them to another school for graduation, and just think about that, and let alone our facilities. And I don't want to get into it because I know
Sure.
we're
All
back
right, we'll
and
do this
forth, and I
privately.
know the rules of the
Yeah.
council, but when you look at that, okay, come hang out with me for a day. You're welcome to. See our facilities, see our restrooms, see what the kids have to deal with, because that is not plausible. And that's what I recommend. Talk to current students. Our students, I work with them every day. They don't know how to reach out to you. The ones who might have voices, who might have thoughts in this, you might have to go to find where they are. And I think that's it's just a tapped, missed issue. And I don't know that people thought tonight the hands would be tied of the Vigo County Council on future investment or spending. To tie the hands on future partnerships like we had in the past, which I believe is what your ordinance would do, I feel it sets a really strong precedent of how you feel. And so I look forward to continuing the conversation. I encourage you to reach out to other schools that have had revamps, but also realize we are going to have to right-size our county school system, and changes are going to have to be made with or without support, and it would have been nice to have everyone on there together.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marie.
My name is Ryan McGuire. I was born and raised in Terre Haute. Been here all my life. I'm an entrepreneur, and I've got two beautiful kids that will possibly attend Vigo County schools. I know there's a lot of people in my generation that were sitting here looking to see what you guys were going to do tonight. I've got a lot of friends that have moved away, not for smaller schools, as you've stated. They've went to schools for nicer schools and better opportunities. What you guys have done here tonight is kind of taken away the collaboration that could have been done in moving forward. We cannot fix what the state has done. We cannot go backwards. All we can do is try to fix what we have right now with collaboration and with different things of working together. And this ordinance that you proposed has taken that away, as everybody has said here tonight. and how you guys have sat here and thought that you could vote on this in 7 days after it was proposed is absolutely absurd. How many schools did any of you guys go to look in? When's the last time you stepped foot in a gym in North or South? Hands? Okay, Vicki, what did you think?
I think we need them fixed up.
Okay, well, your vote took that away, took the collaboration away. And you can sit there and say that it didn't, but it took, you guys wouldn't propose $100,000 to answer all of your questions. The things that you have brought up in the original meeting when the school corporation was sitting here, they answered that, why that couldn't be done. They answered why they thought that what your ideas were could not be done. So the questions that you have, you put out there as fact. $100,000 got the collaboration to be made for full transparency and facts between everyone. You guys could ask questions between each other and everything could be figured out. $100,000. How much money did you guys just put out here tonight to go to everything else? We talk about a jail. We talk about community corrections. We spend all of our money on everything else except for our kids of this county. And I just want to say a little thing that I had to write down because I knew I was probably going to be angry after this. Our schools are the lifeblood of a county. When schools are competitive in the classroom and on the field, it is a significant factor in the county's ability to thrive. It drives positive community pride, economic development, and community stability. A high-quality education system signals a strong community that can attract families and businesses while also creating a well-prepared local workforce for local employers. Sadly, with this vote to not approve the Oversight Committee and help this county move forward, there will more than likely be another graduating class that has had 3 generations go through the same high school that I went through. Go around and look at the other schools. Look at where other kids are going. They're not going to Northview because it's smaller. They're going to Northview because it's better. It's nicer. They've invested in their high schools. They've invested in their schools. That's why kids are going there. They're not going there because it's smaller. So, you know, we got to get past this, all of this stuff and start investing in our kids. Do you guys not think that better schools, better athletics, better all of these things helps drive your jail numbers down? Helps maybe take some kids out of the community corrections program? Because I can tell you this, I graduated with a lot of kids who came from absolutely nothing, and sports and activities were the one things that they will tell you today kept them in high school and kept them in graduating. And we have let that decline over the last 2 decades. We are not keeping those kids in activities. We are not keeping them in sports because all of those lack everything that they used to have. So I think you guys really dropped the ball here tonight. I think everyone who voted this down will probably be on the wrong end of history. Thanks, guys.
Ryan,
Mr. President?
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I've got 3 daughters that aren't coming back.
Yeah, I mean, you sit here and I will just tell you, I know so many people in my generation who have kids in elementary school or kids about to just start, and they're sitting here waiting to see what the plan's going to be. I mean, I have a niece who's graduating high school right now. She's a senior at North. And we were talking about these high schools when she was in elementary school. I have a daughter who's just started first grade. Is she going to finish school here in high school? From the looks of it, probably not. Because we can't get a plan down. We can't move past the things that have held our community back for decades. And when you guys sit there and say that it's not an economic thing, that it doesn't help the economics of this community, talk to anybody on any economic board, and they will tell you the first thing that any big corporation comes here and asks about is their schools. Go do a job in some of these plants and ask people, oh, hey, where do you live? I've never seen you around. Oh, I live in Plainfield. Oh, I live in Brazil. Oh, I live here. Because those people are going there for better opportunities for their kids, and they're driving into Terre Haute to work. So when do we start keeping the people here to live here? We've got Intech that's going to be coming on in what, a year or 2? Do you want all of those employees living in Plainfield, driving 70 to 641 right down there every day? Or do you want to keep them here? Because I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, a guy making $200,000+ isn't going to send his kid to Terre Haute South.
Thank you.
That's all I've got to say.
Mr. President? Ryan? I was going to have a conversation. just, I can understand you're upset, and you believe that we have shut this off, and the reality of this is a problem that has been festering for some time. You agree?
Agree.
You want to talk about children's going through? I've had 3 children go through the schools, from elementary all the way through. They've all graduated.
And where do they go? Are they still in town?
Yep. They still have a residency of my home, yes. So.
Okay, so when they start having kids,
That's a whole nother discussion, buddy.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm
but
saying, because it doesn't change until you start sending your kids there.
Yes, and so I didn't go into this blind, okay? But what I wanted to try to express to you, probably not going to get there in this conversation. I'm totally available. I've been on the phone nonstop for at least 6 months when this all first started. But what I want to say to you is that we didn't do anything to stop this from a county. I know you're going to laugh at that, but this has been there for a long time.
And you had the chance to change that.
I don't think we do, okay? And here's the thing.
You had a chance.
An oversight committee, the idea that we would partner with the schools is still there. We want you to have your voice that you had, and we want you to continue to have that voice. But at the end of the day, the school corporation has long been where all your tax dollars are going to build the schools, to keep the schools maintained. And while people in the community are angry, we didn't say tonight that we don't want to partner. I've told that to hundreds of people. Mr. Ellis's ordinance said this was not something that we should do. We're not the school board. We're not the school corporation. We didn't say we don't want to put money into this. I'm going to be of the same opinion that other people are saying. I want to see change. I want something to happen. I want the schools to be improved. It's appalling.
Can I ask you this?
But the last thing I would say, and then I let you talk to me again, but I honestly believe this rests with the school board and the school corporation. And if we can help partner in this, I'm all for it. But can the county become the school corporation? Can the county funnel $220 million or whatever it's going to take, which is the number that was originally floated? No, we can't. And I think Mr. Anderson has been clear about that as well. He's the one who ran the budget committee. I mean, we're going to be facing some very tight fiscal challenges. And if we fiscally strap this community in a way that we end up with a new school, but we can't pave the roads, or we have to raise taxes. We've got jail overcrowding. I think Council Member Weger talks about all the different things. You said this many times at different meetings.
So tired of hearing about a jail.
Yeah. Well, the problem is there's a whole nother group of people in our community that's their number one thing. And so we've got a lot of we spent just under $1 million tonight for some site survey associated with the community corrections. And I know the president's going to be reluctant to let me talk for very long, but I just wanted you to know, Ryan.
I just want to say one more thing.
I would love to talk to you, just
Yeah.
like anybody else,
Yeah.
offline and share some more thoughts with you, okay?
I would end on this real quick. You guys are voted on this board by the taxpayers to vote on things like what you just voted on. That is what us as the taxpayers vote for you guys to put on the panel to do that. Am I wrong? So you make the statement that you should not vote on that it should go to the power of the people. But you also say the power of the people, you did not let public comment, you didn't let a commissioner speak. So when is the rules and the rules aren't? I mean, with you kind of tonight, it's been kind of all over the place. You say one thing, but the other thing's kind of the other. I mean, that's my biggest gripe with this is You guys are voted upon to take the best needs of the community and to do that. Not voting on a $100,000 thing to look at the collaboration between the two
Never in the
is a thing.
history,
And I'll
never
just
in the
leave it at
history
that.
of this county, Ryan, never in the history of this county has this county council been
You've got,
asked,
sir, you've got the floor.
been asked to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on a school building.
No one asked you for that. They asked you for $100,000.
Go ahead, sir.
My name is Aaron Warner, 1071 East French Drive. I'm a teacher in the corporation. I'm the union president for the VCTA, the largest union in the county. Mr. Ellis, you mentioned something about how there was intimidation. I'm not sure what your exact words were in your video, how members were being intimidated or whatever, coerced or asked to write emails that they were told to.
That's not correct.
Okay.
I said that there were organizations that were asked to write emails, but as far as the teachers go, what I had said was that teachers were told that they should be able to explain their position if they weren't backing the new school project overall.
I watched the video. I thought it said something a bit different.
No, I mean, I'm happy to pull it up and play it for you.
That's quite all right. Everybody's free to make their own decision. Have I, on numerous occasions, asked my members to support this? Yeah. I asked everybody to support the last referendum. It failed 2-1. Now, I'm trying to imagine a business wanting to move somewhere, and if they Google, Tarot Tribune Star, and they look at, they voted down a referendum, and they come by and see our schools. Mr. Berger's talked about how some are just like, I've seen the high schools, that's enough. We don't have a shining example high school to take anybody by. What the optics of that are, and what would the optics of this be? And your language, if that were just written verbatim in the newspaper, and then we say what the vote was, the optics are horrible for that. This was a chance for us to come together, because we got this next referendum. There's got to be something, I'm just guessing. It's got to pass. It has got to pass. And if we don't have the whole community, if we had city government and county government and the school board all together, maybe we have a chance of winning this by 51%. Losing 2-1, we have a tremendous obstacle to overcome. I'm not very proud this evening. We shut a door. It was open. And Madam Wilson, Councilperson Wilson, I think you said the casino would have paid the $100,000. So you wouldn't have been out a dime. And we're not asking for $200 million. We're trying to show, and a state law was passed just for this. A state law. We're one of the few counties that can do it because it has to be a one corporation county, and there aren't a lot of those. So we have a tremendous opportunity to pave the road for other counties to do this, and we just shut it down. And I hear you, we can do whatever else, but this is a horrible first step. A horrible first step. So if somehow this can be revisited, President Thompson, could it be revisited? Do you know?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Are there takebacks?
I think in government there are always takebacks. I mean, if feelings change amongst the membership of the council, they are certainly. There are rules that prohibit, an exact replica of, well, I mean, I guess that doesn't really apply because the ordinance as it is currently constituted just prohibits it, so an affirmative vote to do something would, in theory, trump that, but I think there are always the opportunities for new information to come forward and for decisions to be revisited.
Well, I hope conversations now take place that should have taken place the last 7 days, or maybe given a few weeks to have some of these conversations. I certainly hope you reconsider. I would certainly love to have this be a community thing and have this pass like 75 to 25%. That would just be phenomenal. Yes, sir.
So, and I'm not being challenging. I'm genuinely asking.
Sure.
If the county has, again, this is based on what other people have told me in their presentations, they've said that they have, and you might be the wrong person, not the county, the school corporation, you might be the wrong person to ask. But in some of their presentations, it was said that they had roughly 140, and another presentation, 150 million to do a portion of this project. If that is the case, why do we have bathrooms that aren't working? Why do we have schools that are deplorable? Why are they not taking care of the facilities that we have and instead insisting on spending way more to create a new facility. So part of the issue is, why are we throwing more money at a project? No different than, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think those numbers are incorrect. I'm on the bargaining. We just started today, so these numbers are really fresh in my head.
Sure.
Okay, we have a rainy day fund of $13 million.
Sure.
And we have a cash balance, we're looking at 35 million, something like that. So that's it. Cash balance, 35 million, and rainy day fund, 13. That's it. So I'm not sure where the 140, 150 came from. I mean, that's maybe what it costs to run the whole corporation. That may be the number you heard. But no, there is no account that has that much money in it.
So that might be a conversation worth having with Mr. Hemsel.
No question. I'm not the one to talk to about.
Sure.
Yeah, that. Yeah. All right. Thank you for your time this evening. You have a tough job. It is not easy, and you don't get a lot of thank you. So thank you for being here this evening, and I'm sure there's places you'd rather be, and you'd rather have food in your bellies. But anyway, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Mike Ellis, local taxpayer. I don't understand why everyone's pointing to the county, or even Brandon was up here, somebody suggested they ought to pay for it. The school corporation that throws their money around all over the place, why don't they pay the $100,000? They've got millions. Whether you're right, Stephen, whether it's 140 million or 150 million, I'm sure they got 100,000. I agree. Nothing happened here tonight that stops this advisory committee from going forward. It's just who's going to pay for it. School corporation ought to be the most important thing to them. So let them come up with the 100,000. Thank you.
I'm Steve Harold. I live in Vigo County. Had a business here till I retired. I went to Davis Park. Went to Woodrow Wilson, matriculated to lab school, and then State High. All of them were old facilities, but they were well maintained, and I got a quality education. I don't think people move to Vigo County solely for education. They come here for jobs. I don't think the campus, no matter how glorious it is something that attracts people. It's the quality of the education. And I think that should be our first concern. And I don't think we should be borrowing or spending a whole lot of money that we really are not sure we can afford, in order to go into a new project. I think we need to maintain what we have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Motion to adjourn, a second by Councilwoman Wilson. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
Nobody leave. You have the most papers to sign you've had yet, so.